Super Mario Odyssey was an extremely popular game, so it's no surprise that a plush set was made for it. As well, basically every single time a major mainline Mario game comes out, there's usually a plush set made for it. And well, even though there's only 4 plushes in the entire set, they're all really high quality and definitely worth getting. So yeah, with that said, welcome to a look at the Sanei Super Mario Odyssey plush set. Starting off with the first plush in the set, we have Mario. Now, one thing that you'll immediately notice about this Mario plush is that Mario's hat has Cappy's eyes on them, which is a detail that was definitely needed for this plush, and they did a great job with it, as well the eyes are actually really nicely embroidered on and they look really good. And well, one thing that's interesting about this Mario plush is that the hat isn't actually attached to the head, so it's pretty easy to just take off the hat and put it back on. And well, I'm pretty sure this is the only Sanei plush to ever have that feature on it, as well basically every single other Sanei Mario plush I know about has the hat stitched onto it. But yeah, under the hat, Mario's hair is really nicely stuffed and it looks pretty good. Mario's eyebrows and eyes look really good and they're really nicely embroidered on, so they're definitely really high quality. Mario's mustache also looks really good and looks very similar to the All-Star Mario plush's mustache, as though they probably took the pattern from that plush as well, but it looked extremely accurate. And while halfway through the overalls, you could also see some other material that look exactly like the buttons, and I don't really know why they're in the middle of the plush, but they look pretty good either way. But yeah, this plush definitely has a lot of extra detail on the overalls, adding the extra buttons to the middle of the overalls and adding a ton of stitching to it just to give it a bit more detail. And for the rest of the plush, the hands are just really nicely stuffed and the gloves have a bit of embroidery on them just to give it a bit more detail. And well, the shoes on this plush are also just really nicely stuffed and they look basically completely accurate. But yeah, another pretty interesting thing about this plush is that it only came in one size, being a 16-inch tall size, which once again doesn't really fit in with the rest of their Mario plushes, as well usually they're not that big and they're usually just like a normal size. But I guess for whatever reason, they just decided to make all these plushes in the set just really big. And well, just like most popular Sanei plushes, there's a bootleg of it. And well, this plush is just very obviously a bootleg, as well, but it's nowhere near 16 inches tall. The hair is just way too dark and the mustache doesn't have any detail on it. Cappy's eyes are also just way too far apart, and the eyes on actual Mario's face just don't really look that good at all. And well, another way to tell that this plush is a fake is that it's just way too skinny. So yeah, this bootleg Mario plush definitely isn't good at all, and it's very easy to tell if it's a bootleg, especially if it's for sale on eBay with a stock image. As well, but if you see this Mario Odyssey plush for sale and it has a stock image and it's for like a very cheap price, like $15, it's most likely a bootleg. Now, if you want this plush, you could look on eBay or Mercari, but it is pretty hard to find nowadays, as well, there's a lot of bootlegs just for sale everywhere, so it's kind of hard to find the legit plush. But if you do find the legit plush, it kind of sells for a random amount of money, as well. Sometimes I see it sell for $60, and other times I see it sell for over $100, so it just kind of matters on the seller. Moving on to the next plush, we have Cappy. Now, the eyes used on this Cappy plush is the exact same as the eyes on the Mario hat, so they look just as good and they're also faced the exact same way. And well, there's not really a lot to say about this plush, as well, Cappy's a very simplistic character, so there isn't really a lot of details on him that you can miss out on. As well, the detail above his eyes is nicely stuffed and it looks pretty good, and the actual hat part of the plush looks really nice. And I do like that on the top of the plush, the blue fades into the white really nicely, as well, but goes from being a white color into a blue color, and you can see it fade into that, so I really like that detail. I think they did a really good job with that. But yeah, besides that, there's not really a lot of details on this plush. Basically, this plush is just really nicely made and it's pretty high quality, so there's not really any details on this plush that could get damaged. Now, just like the Mario plush that we looked at, there's a bootleg of it, but this one's a very obvious bootleg, as well. You could just look at the eyes and tell that it's a bootleg. As well, instead of the eyes being a whole separate plush material and being stitched onto the face, these are actually just attached to the face itself, so that's an easy way to tell. And well, they're also just a bit far apart, and the black outlines around the actual eyes are just way too big. And the inside of the eyes are also made out of a very low quality felt material that can collect debris pretty easily, so that's another very easy way to tell. And while the blue part of the plush is also an obvious factor when it comes to a bootleg, as well, but it just turns from white to blue instantly instead of having like a nice fade to it. So yeah, this is a very low quality bootleg and it doesn't really look that good at all, and once again, just like the Mario plush, you shouldn't buy from stock images, as it will most likely just end up being a bootleg. But yeah, if you want the official plush, you can look on eBay or Mercari, and it usually sells for, once again, just kind of random prices as well. I saw one for sale for $30 and another for like $60. Now moving on to the next plushes, we have the Wedding Mario and the Wedding Peach. Now the reason why I'm including them together is that they actually come in this box, which actually looks really good as well. The artwork on the box just looks really nice. But some of the only Sanei Mario plushes that ever came inside of a box, so yeah, that's just a really unique thing about it, and I think the box artwork itself just looks really nice. Now for the individual plushes themselves, Mario actually looks really good, and the clothes on it are just very high quality. As well, the clothes used on this plush are just made out of a really silky material, and it looks really good, and it makes it have like a shiny look to it. And unlike the original Mario plush, this hat is actually stitched onto the head, so it can't really come off unless if you purposely unstitch it, which I would definitely not recommend doing. But yeah, for Mario's face is the exact same as the normal Mario plush, and for the suit on this plush is really good. As on the middle of the suit is uses two metal beads, which are like a goldish color, and it looks to be the exact same color as the buttons on the overalls on the original Mario plush. And the rest of the clothes on the Mario plush are made out of the exact same material and are basically the exact same color, and they're all really nicely stitched on so they can't fall off. One thing that I would change about this Mario plush is that the soles of the shoes don't really fit in with the rest of the plush, as it was basically just a fully whitish plush but just has some really strange looking soles on the shoes. So the only thing that I would really change about this plush is that change the soles of the shoes to a different color, but besides that, the rest of the plush is just amazing, and they obviously put a lot of work into it. And just like every single plush in this set, it has a very low quality bootleg. As well, this bootleg is just way too small, and basically every single detail on it looks nowhere near how the original plush is supposed to be. As well, the material used on the bootleg isn't this silky material, and it doesn't give it a shine at all, and it looks really bad in my opinion. The eyes are also just really poorly embroidered on. And it seems that the suit and the hat is also just made out of a really low quality material that will fall apart pretty easily, unlike the original material, which is really high quality and will hold up for many years. So yeah, just like every single plush in this set, don't buy from a stock image, as you'll most likely just get this really low quality bootleg. And we also have the Peach plush. Now Peach's face is really nicely embroidered on, the eyes actually look really good. And the hair on this plush is also really nicely detailed, as well the main part of the hair is really nicely stuffed, so it gives it a bit more detail, and but actually has some strands of hair falling off the sides which are nicely glued on. So they could technically fall off over time, as since they're only glued on, they could fall off because the glue could get dried over the years, but I don't really think that'll happen, as most Sanei plushes uses really high quality materials. And the earrings also seem to be glued onto the plush, and they look pretty good. And for the crown on this plush is made out of this silverish material, and it looks really good. And it seems to just be made out of this really firm material that holds up really well as well, but just doesn't really seem to fall apart on any of these plushes. And the dress on this plush is made out of a very similar material to Mario's suit, as well, but it's made out of this really shiny material and also sort of a cloth material. And the gloves that Peach is wearing also has a bit more detail on it, and it has some nice embroidery on it just to give it a bit more small detail to it. But yeah, basically every single detail on this plush is accurate looking and is really nicely made, as well basically every single material on this plush is really high quality. And once again, there's just this really inaccurate looking bootleg that has poor embroidery on the face, and also the crown used on this plush is made out of the wrong material, so it doesn't give it the exact same shine as the normal crown, and it looks pretty bad. And every single material on this plush falls apart really easily, and a lot of the times when you see the bootleg for sale, it'll actually be missing parts of the plush, so yeah, it's just a really bad bootleg that you should definitely not get. Now, if you want to buy these plushes individually, you could find them individually on websites like eBay and Mercari, and they sell for varying prices just like every single other plush in the set, or you could buy them in the box. And the box plushes in this set cost a lot of money, and they're also extremely rare, as most of the time they sell for around $160 to $200. Overall, this plush set is just really good, and it seems that every single plush in this set is just really high quality. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please like, subscribe, and comment down below which plush in this set is your favorite, and yeah, have a great day.